somewhere between spring and summer, when the snow has passed and the earth is warm again, a rare and very special type of mushroom finds opportunity in the barren, blackened soil of last year's forest fires. And when it does, it creates opportunity for those sufficiently inclined to seek fortune and adventure. This is a Morel mushroom. They are fragrant and delicious and are prized in the culinary arts for their flavor and texture, as well as their striking beauty. But they grow quickly, and their season is short and are notoriously difficult to cultivate. These challenges only strengthen their allure, and when they are in season, they create a flurry of activity akin to a gold rush as pickers and distributors scramble to get their buckets filled before the window closes. I knew this, and I wanted to be a part of it. But could I figure it out? And could I actually make money trying out something that many people have decades of experience in? Or would I walk away defeated? To find out, I went mushroom picking for fun and profit. I've seen morels before while tree planting, and I knew they grew in huge quantities the year right after a forest fire. And there have been a lot of fires. But the tricky part seemed to be, how will I find a buyer? Thankfully, there are some groups online where people share pictures of their hauls, and after reaching out to many of these people, I learned two things. Most people in these groups are just there to brag and have no desire to help you. And this fire was probably where many people were going to be concentrated. So I got a map from my brother, loaded up the car, and drove out there. It turned out finding a buyer was not going to be an issue.
Oh.
Hello, puppy.
So this left me with only one problem remaining. How exactly do you find morels? There are a lot of people asking for help finding these elusive treats in the online spaces I found, and sometimes they get fairly good advice. Morels need moisture. Scattered sunlight is best, or they dry out. They avoid competing with established ground-covering plants, etc. And those are all true, but that's only sort of helpful. The only way to learn how to find them is to go out looking for them. They know where conditions are right, and that can look different in various regions and elevations, so all the tips and tricks in the world fall a distant second to developing a feel for it in real conditions. And after our first day of trying, I would say we were starting to get a feel for it. Now, for a first attempt, I was definitely pleased. But although it looks impressive, that volume was only about 6 pounds of mushrooms, or $60 at this point. So clearly I'd need to fill more than one bucket if I wanted to make some money. So tomorrow is a brand new day with a brand new spot.
Yeah.
Anyone with a healthy appreciation for time spent in nature can probably tell making money is only part of the appeal.
I'm gonna start down over there.
Okay.
But that said, going into this, I had many questions about how the morels get from out here into consumer markets, and there was a lot more to it than I realized at first.
Cute little guy. We're just gonna leave the little guys.
I wondered if I could simply pick them fresh and sell them direct to consumers to make more money, and I did meet one individual who did exactly that.
Way too many footprints.
The hustler, as my friend Jason described it. The reality is this: you're limited by two major factors: market depth And spoilage. By market depth, I mean how many people do you know to sell them to? It's fine to get excited about selling fresh morels for $25 a pound, but without a farmer's market or a series of restaurants already waiting on you, unloading them quickly will be a real challenge. For perspective, one of these buckets holds roughly 8 to 10 pounds, so 1 pound of mushrooms is kind of a lot.
Gonna leave some of them.
And then the real stickler, spoilage. Sitting in open air, they lose roughly 5% of their weight per day to moisture loss, so they're shrinking quick. We brought back a few pounds to enjoy at home, but neglected to get them into a fridge, and after one day in a hot car, they were already moldy.
There's a bunch.
It's a very sensitive crop,
There's one.
and they need proper care to last any length of time. So for me at least, the best choice is to get them to a buyer who knows what to do with them as quickly as possible, and let them worry about the details. Which is a pretty fair deal, especially at the start of the season when the price is higher.
Clusters.
We met some folks who made $600 per day when the price was $15 a pound.
Little guy.
A more typical price is the $10 a pound we were getting when we arrived 2 weeks in. It's possible it makes more sense to dry them yourself later in the season when the price is down to $5 a pound.
Yeah.
I'd need 10 pounds of fresh mushrooms to end up with 1 pound dry,
It's like they're sparkling.
but they can sell for anywhere from $40 to $100 a pound dry,
Oh man, it's like a trail.
and they'll keep much longer.
I do want to see what's through there. Oh. Got one sparkling mushroom. Two sparkling mushroom. Oh, three little ones. What a beautiful patch to be a mushroom. Oh. I'll leave that one for now. Ding ding. That one. And that one. And that one. Gorgeous. Fresh and beautiful. Oh. Beauty. Might as well. Because we're here.
As you might imagine, there are different kinds of buyers as well. The proper depot buyers who have large tents and refrigerated trucks who are usually working in collaboration with a distribution company. And the snipers who will roll up midday in a white panel van further up the road and try to entice you with fast and loose purchasing or $1 more per pound. I was interested in meeting the right people, so we stuck to the more legitimate-looking choice, who was more than happy to teach us some things to look for and what to avoid in order to bring in top-quality product.
Hello again, Jason.
Good day.
You're gonna help us out?
Definitely.
We tried pretty hard.
You guys did really good. Nice, clean, short stems.
She was keeping me honest. I was trying to put a lot of... They're so pretty.
They are. These are actually a really, really good quality mushroom that we're getting off this burn. Not all burns are like this.
Yeah, no, I've seen
So-
what were you calling it before? The ash splash.
Yeah.
That's where I was last year.
So this year we've been a little bit drier conditions for picking, which definitely minimizes the ash, but it definitely gives us a lot more for needles and stuff. You guys did a good job of cleaning these, so. And that's the first one in there that I don't really like to see. So
Yeah.
they got a great big base to them. They're just a sick mushroom, basically. The texture on them isn't going to be the same. It's going to be a little bit tougher to eat, and they don't dry worth, like they're just not worth even trying to dry. So they go straight in our garbage.
But they're fine to eat. Like if I wanted to take that one home,
You could, but you'll find that the flavor in something like this is going to be way better than what it is in the other, in something that's blown out. We try and buy quality. We're buying for fresh market right now. When this goes to the grocery store, if I send a basket that looks like this to a grocery store, every mushroom's going to sell out of it. Where if somebody's taken a basket and they beat them up and they picked them into a bag, they don't look pretty. And if they don't look pretty, they're so much harder to sell.
you want the short stems.
Stems are edible. They're great if you're picking them for personal use. If you're picking them on a commercial level, we want to keep them short stemmed. They cool better, they dry better, they look better, keeps the dirt off of them, and that's the key to them. Is the cleaner we keep these, the better the condition is going to be with the mushroom in general.
Now, what's going to happen with this one? Because it's not pretty.
It's not the prettiest mushroom in the world. It's a little bit dry on the top. It's going to get cold out of here. We'd rather not send something like that to a restaurant or to a grocery store.
Like you're saying, they want
or
it
the
pretty.
end consumer. We want to try and send them the best of the best. It seems like a waste, but when it comes down to it, we compost everything, gets taken back out to the bush and dumped in the bush anyways.
Okay.
So it's not like we're going to waste them.
Yeah.
There's a couple examples of some of the other stuff that we really don't like to see.
Yeah, what's wrong with these? Like the color's weird on that for one thing.
A little bit different in color. This one is getting to the point where it's a little bigger base, but it's also got mold on the side of it.
Right.
So we really don't want to see that. We leave that into a basket. It's going to mold out completely. And you'll turn the
basket,
whole
yeah.
basket or a corner of the basket into a moldy mess. And, well, nobody wants to see that. This is just a little bit older, and it was grown in a really wet climate. So they become rubbery.
Okay.
Again, texture is just not the greatest on them. They're edible. Myself, I don't prefer them. Some
You
guys
can
actually
tell
like
it's really-
them. They like them a little darker, and they like them. They've got a different flavor to them,
Right.
and they like the tougher texture of them. For me, it's not. Again, there's another blown out one. Just, it's not going to last fresh market wise. We don't want to see them crumbled up. I got pails of it.
kind of like a little overworked all around the edges.
Yeah, they crumble up in a bag. They rub together, right? So we do recommend picking into pails.
That one's ours. That's Jason's example. That's the right one right there.
That's my personal picking pail. That's what I like to pick with. So, $140 worth of mushrooms today.
Not bad. I mean, split both ways. It's not. It's. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good. Well, that was 140 bucks, which is pretty sweet considering how long we were actually out there trying. And we could have gone back, but then I wouldn't be doing this. And I kind of needed a shower, so that's how I justify it. It's a nice little perk of the gig. Overall, I'm happy to let them deal with the transportation and marketing, because finding them is the fun part anyway.
Huh? Oh my god.
Look at how big that is.
That's a mushroom to share. Holy cow.
Biggest one we've seen.
By a lot.
Yeah, by like several times.
I thought it was going to be very competitive, and it is, but I also learned that the sense of community out here is strong.
I love that pack. Hey, puppy.
Both the buyers and the pickers are friendly and respectful, and although both would prefer if there were less of each, the shared experience of sidestepping convention and removing oneself from the trappings of comfort and convenience to crawl through ash and dirt day after day, hungry for the thrill of that next big patch just sneaking out from around the next tree, calls to a certain type of individual. And if you are such an individual, this is a sure way to find yourself among friends. We made enough to pay for food and gas, and that's all. But we weren't working that hard, and that's okay. It was an incredible adventure and the most fun I've had in some time. Feeling close to nature and supported by our ecosystem is a privilege and an honor, and for me at least, a critical part of maintaining a happy and fulfilling lifestyle. And when it feels like everything in this construct of a system is endlessly trying to consume you, being able to escape and be part of something driven by nature and upheld by real people is a welcome return to form. Thank you for sharing this adventure with me. Leave it better than you found it, and keep doing the thing.